juli lanni maro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngal do sabu e ngal do Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki nyawlo den ha humpondire makko est ce qu'on non e warude
waden no
ane ko de Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amerique
ko Amerique a woni kede humpitaki fi be musibe men baluwo be andanda kala ko wawda wonde aduna si arrivi e juude mabbe a jonna e do dépassement Gambia har no weebi ayata kadi taw ko mbudi din no jawi walla no jippi be halanta ma ko kala ko falda ko reese sengo nyamete ili nebba maro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi don a hendo to har no weebi kadi wona dum don tu be abbe jonnira e mobile phone siko dum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode dibe ay cash power be wawma jonnude kadi sa fala pitade ko weebi yetti Google account ma joni data ton wada download app mabbe on ayay kala ko humpi may mabbe ton be weebi ama
ka wonda wo e aduna on
kala ko wawda
a jonnana e wondo kaleji men Gambia do dépense
harano weebi ama si dum no fono nebi immo den joni mi do tama ka place mabbe jan
waden joni
iya heba ko fala
waden fisam.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriCell Mobile Money just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Yo, what's up? It's your girl Sally Teasy Joe, and you know how we do it every Sunday right here on Kerr Fatou. I am here with my 2 beautiful ladies. And Charmain. Right, so I am pleased to introduce to you international visual artist from Atlanta, now residing in the Gambia, Charmain Minifield, and international publicist and the CEO of Senjigen Production, Olimata Taal, on the playlist for the very first time for her, but for many times. It's an honor having you both.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I'm going to start right with you because you're the reason why we're here, the visual international artist. First of all, I must compliment your dreads. They look so beautiful.
Thank you.
And your outfit as well.
Well, it's Gambia.
Of course. Okay, tell us your experience living in the Gambia.
I love the Gambia. We'll start there.
Yeah, the Smiling Coast.
The Smiling Coast. People tell me the more you smile, the browner you get. So I'm working on my tan.
Okay, so then that means you gotta smile every minute.
All the
smile
time.
through the whole interview.
And the Gambia gives you plenty to smile for.
Of course.
I love the Gambia. I've been here now over a year. I came during a vacation to explore setting up a second home for my family.
Wow.
And my flight was due out March 16th, and it was canceled.
Wow.
So I've been here ever since. Like, I stayed through the quarantine, and we got a compound, and I made it an artist residency.
And you loved it.
I loved it.
And
I loved
not
it.
thinking of going back.
Oh, my goodness. I actually have a date coming up where I'm returning.
Okay.
And though I miss home and my city and my family, I don't miss the COVID mayhem.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm
Nobody missed the
grateful
COVID.
that we have had this safe space here in the Gambia to sort of watch it all unfold and keep each other safe and happy here.
Yes.
I have my daughter with me too, so.
Great.
Yeah.
So feel comfortable, feel free. I mean, it's peaceful, it's lovely. Everybody smiles at you, and you're smiling at the moment. So let's just keep it smiley. Great. So as I mentioned earlier, you are an international visual artist, and you decide to come to Gambia to share your work with us, which is so beautiful. We will display it so all of you can see her amazing masterpiece. We're looking forward to also having me part of her collections.
Yes,
hopefully. Right. So, I mean, you just had an art exhibition not long ago.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this?
The art exhibition was at the beautiful Metsi Hotel. They hosted us there. It was also hosted by the Smiling Coast Foundation, a nonprofit organization I work with and partner with here in the Gambia. And my sister Olimata Taal invited the media out. And it was a chance to show the work that I've created over the course of this 1-year residency.
Wow.
And the Metsi Hotel took out all the shops. I mean, they really made the space beautiful.
Wow.
And we showed the work along a beautiful wall at night a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And we had a chance to invite the National Council on the Arts here, and a number of other partners, especially leading up to the Taal mural that we'll be doing. So we announced that then as well.
Right. So let's delve right into who you are as a person. I mean, I'm sure the viewers would want to know who is Charmain. I mean, how she got into what she's doing. Tell us about your background.
I live in Atlanta. I have been in the arts now for decades. I won't tell my age, but I don't mind.
You're still beautiful.
Fabulous, yes.
Of course you are.
But I've been an arts administrator, a curator, and a producer. And for the last, I would say, almost 15 years now, I've been focusing specifically on my own artistic practice.
Great.
And my work in public spaces is in the form of murals. Though I also do site-specific installations with film projecting on buildings. I'll make a building glow at night.
Wow.
With a moving image.
Wow.
So I'm planning to get my projectors to the Gambia.
We're looking forward to having that kind of images
and have
the
some
country.
installations here. I've been thinking, me and Oli's been on some stuff. So
plus, because you know, she's not gonna tell it all.
So
let me tell y'all a little something. So she also produced the largest arts festival in Atlanta called the National Black Arts Festival.
Wow!
And I've been going to it for years. It'd be held at the biggest park in Atlanta, Piedmont Park, and I'm talking about everybody in the art world, whether you're a musician, whether you're an artist, whether you're a designer, whether you make jewelry, vendors. It was a spot to be. Like the whole city of Atlanta would come out annually for this. And I know she didn't mention it, but y'all got to know who she is.
But you know, also it was at the time that the festival was happening in the U.S. It's the National Black Arts Festival in the U.S. The Roots Festival is happening here in the Gambia. And being here, as an artist, I like to work in community. I like to work collaboratively. I like to be inspired by artists. You had an artist you interviewed earlier.
Gambia.
Yeah, and I like to activate the arts wherever I am. And so, of course, I heard about the Roots Festival. Yeah. And that is a real goal.
Well, you know, my father is the chair.
I know,
of the
that's why I'm
Roots
mentioning
Festival,
it.
so you know.
Okay.
You see how the world turns.
Of course.
Destiny.
So our goal, that's a real effort that we'd like to see happen in the Gambia.
Yeah, well, let's revive it back then and, make it more.
Happening. It's going to happen.
I believe
Okay, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the Ministry of Tourism is doing a lot to make sure, and the National Council of Arts and Culture to make sure it's revived.
Great.
Awesome.
Well, that's nice. I mean, we just got to bring it back to life and, let art flow.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, did your upbringing promote a specific reference point within your work?
Oh, wow. Interesting you asked that particular question because my work over the last few years has centered the ring shout. And the ring shout is a traditional African American worship practice that was created during enslavement.
Wow.
As a secret way to preserve and express our African identity.
Wow.
And what we did was we stood in circle. We sang in call and response. There was a dance movement that looks very similar to how we dance here in the Gambia.
Wow.
And we weren't able to have our drums, so we used the floor as our collective drum.
Wow, so you tap with your feet.
So we beat our feet on the floor.
Beautiful.
And that practice, the ring shout, it literally characterized all of Black faith traditions in the West.
Wow.
So, the second line band, the New Orleans Indians, the marching bands, all of those traditions come out of African ceremonial practices and celebrations. So my work references the ring shout a lot. I have my site-specific installation. One of them is a projection of the ring shout and a praise house. And the houses that we gathered in, which was like our mosques that we gathered in, were small and wooden. And those were the floors that we beat our feet on. So those were praise houses. So I'm building replicas of praise houses in communities and projecting images of the ancestors dancing the ring shout on the outside of those praise houses.
Wow.
And I'm doing that in Atlanta to commemorate 800 unmarked graves that were discovered of enslaved folks in Atlanta in our historically segregated cemetery.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
from the
deep.
1800s. So they discovered 800 unmarked graves. Wow. And so the city of Atlanta, the National Endowment for the Arts, and there's an organization called Flux Projects that has all worked with me and commissioned this project.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me to the Gambia also, my research on the ring shout.
Wow.
So I've been blessed to be in ceremonies and celebrations in the Gambia. I've gone to John Jamburi.
Wow.
I'm still going to Jufaray. Yep, I'm finding the spaces where my ancestors probably were, where I probably came from.
Yeah.
And I'm following my path literally through memory and intuition.
And do you know it's beautiful, like following your path through memory, even though you were not there, but you still follow memory.
Yeah. It's embedded in your
embedded
DNA.
in you, of course.
It's encoded in me.
It's beautiful.
My great-grandmother taught me how to dance the way we dance here in the Gambia.
Okay. I mean, sitting here, can you do little moves with your hands?
First of all, I have not quite got my steps up like my man Jacob.
It's only much a child teaching you.
I haven't gotten that fast. Like, oh my goodness, this is coming in like a hummingbird. It's
amazing.
But
it's interesting because I did two pieces with her. Once was a dance documentary where we actually were in near Ghana town and she was dancing. Working on the documentary about her, myself and Wuri Jallo, he was my co-producer and co-director.
Yes.
When we were doing the research and just trying to pull the pieces together, we noticed that the ring shout and gamos or the sikr that the biphals do is completely similar. So you can see the connection that even though slavery and being transported over continents and
still doesn't stop you from
it still
who
never
you are.
it still never disconnected you from your roots.
Of course.
So that to me is dynamic and you'll be able to see, it's interesting you can think things, but to actually see it in motion is a whole nother thing.
It's a whole nother thing. So back to you, I mean, growing up what got you into visual?
Visual art.
Yeah, does it have to do with your parents? Or
Well,
was it
yes, actually. My mother is a visual artist. An interior designer is how her visual art expressed.
Yeah.
Her uncle, which we grew up watching him make small little houses out of found objects. And so visual art was always around me.
Yeah.
And I started, copying books, illustrations from children's books.
Yeah.
And my family noticed my talent and just kept feeding it. Like they gave me all of my materials, all of my Christmas gifts. Everything was always art supplies.
Yeah.
And I never had a moment where I wasn't encouraged and I didn't believe that I could make a living and I could make my way in life as a visual artist.
Right. So what does your art aim to say?
I remember my ancestors in my work to invoke their example of freedom.
Wow.
And I feel that example is poignant today and lifting up the idea and the struggle for freedom worldwide for African people, I think is timely, given what's happening in the world, the threats against Black lives.
Yes.
I've heard of the issue that happened here with a young girl. The things that are happening back in the States. The court case is happening right now for the murder of George Floyd. All those things to me are pressing and oppressive of our freedom. And so my work is prayer. Like our ancestors gathered in those circles and called and responded. My work is a response to this time.
Wow.
And the response for me is prayer.
Yeah.
And being here in the Gambia, I'm surrounded by prayer.
Of course.
Prayer sings in the streets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to just enjoy, going deeper into the culture of our people as Africans, inside of our belief in God and our ritual for prayer, and our collective intention towards a wellness and ultimately freedom for our people all over, worldwide.
Beautiful. Because
I want to add to that too, because I think Charmain's work is a homage to the ancestors. It's like a ancestral celebration. When you look a lot of her work, she has murals of Harriet Tubman, Ruby Doris, different women from our families, our elders, our aunties, women of the movement, of the civil rights movement, like Ella Baker. And her work, not just her murals, but her art in general, it tells a story. It tells a story of a passion. It tells a story of wanting to acquire freedom, but not just physical freedom, but freedom, holistic freedom, spiritual freedom. Because I think as African people, especially African people in the diaspora who were transported as a result of slavery, there's a disconnect to the continent. So the art speaks through bridging that gap and filling those voids and healing from the roots of the transatlantic, and healing from the pain of the transatlantic slave trade. So the work and the music and the art ends up being a form of healing, a form of expression, of creative expression for artists, not for themselves, but for the whole community. And I think that's important when our artists do not represent what we stand for today, or not the voice of the voiceless, then the art is not depicting what life is supposed to be, to portray in art.
That's
what I see.
That's what the ring shot was. It kept our identity central. The expression of our identity is art. It is dance. It is song. It is movement. It is visual. It's also trade skills. And so part of my process in my artist residency has been to remember my ancestors in order to find materials or medium to even work in here in the Gambia, or find the communities that potentially my family might have come from, because we worked in indigo on plantations, where this project is inspired by was an indigo plantation. It was a praise house on an indigo plantation in South east of the U.S. And so now I'm searching and finding indigo, and that's what all my paintings are in, indigo. Right. Crushed oyster shells as white. That's a traditional paint practice here in the Gambia and in Southeast Gullah country of the U.S. We painted our architecture with crushed oyster shells, and we made our structures with crushed oysters.
Right. So do you use the crushed oyster shells painted and kind of give it a structure, or how do you tend to do it?
I use it as the white.
Okay.
In the paint.
Okay.
On the palette.
Right.
So it behaves very differently than actual paint. I'm finding. So that whole process is complete rites of passage. And for me, it is an homage and a prayer to my ancestors. I feel like it is them whispering in my ear what I need to do to find my way home.
Right.
I don't know my grandmother's past 2 generations.
Yeah, me either. I mean, it's very unfortunate. I live in the Gambia. I grew up here, but I mean, I don't know whether griots now are not really telling stories. Oh, I don't know, but I would have loved to. I know my mom's mom, but I mean, I've never seen them. Both my mom's mom and dad, and my dad's mom and dad, they passed even before.
Okay.
I mean, my elder brother was born.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe it's because we here, so many of us do not really follow our roots, like try to know who we are, dig deeper into our past. I guess it kind of contributes to how so many young people in our generation today are disconnected from their roots. And I mean, having people like you, visual artists, who are here to bring back these.
Well, I feel like our roots are what
defines us.
Yeah,
and it literally is our intellectual property that has been exploited all over the world, and the economies of many countries thrive off of.
Yeah.
So why should we not go ahead and reclaim our place in contemporary landscape as the origins of all of that awesomeness through our own expression and ownership of our identity, which is our roots.
Yeah.
That's right. Or you will see Gucci or Versace.
Of course.
Yes, and literally
using the pattern.
Yes, it's literally
and be like, I created it when they got it from the Maasai or the Jola, the Mandinka.
Of course. And I am so proud that you use the Ankara material as your backdrop for every work you're doing, which is very beautiful, that you're using the African in you to portray your work, which is very amazing. I'll say keep it up. Also, I'd like to know if your work comment on current and political issues like social matters, political matters. Does your art comment on that?
Well, I think it does, because it's intended to, because it is prayer. My work is prayer. It actually came out of we did a short film meditation piece, which is what Olimata's referring to. That was during Juneteenth of last year, right as the pandemic was raging and unfolding, and I was mourning actual family loss. Like there were deaths in my family. Thank you. And then the endangerment of my own family, that because of the outbreak that was happening in the U.S. And the only way that I could sort of express that was in my, remembering how my grandmother prayed, which was through physical movement, which looked like the dances, which like the ring shout. So I had this expression inside of that, and that to me was the only response that I could have. It led to the body of work, the film, and as all of the events of today unfolded over the last year, it to me was response to that, just my prayer, this collective prayers that I'm accumulating through time, through my ancestors, but inside of my own identity and expression today, as I'm here in the Gambia, safe with my family, but praying for my family abroad.
Great.
It's interesting because I want to chime in, and more specifically, this discussion about messages in your music and dealing with social issues in your music. I want to really focus on talking to the Gambian artists, because I think it's good to have, party and have a good
songs,
time and stuff like that. But we're dealing with an international pandemic where millions of people have been impacted all over the world.
Especially black and brown people.
Yeah, especially black and brown people. You're dealing with, especially for me in the music industry, it's had a major economic impact on the way I make money and my livelihood. And I'm sure artists and hotel owners and people in tourism and other industries, media, we've all been affected. So I think it just reminds me of the 60s and the 70s or whatever, the 80s and the 90s, when things happen, people always use their art to make a point, to bring the people together, to heal some of the
awareness,
pain, to create awareness. And so I just want to remind the artists, as you make your music, don't just make it about fun and dance. Put messages in there. You can encode your messages in your music and still have a good time.
Of course. Of course, like what the girl that I had during my previous show did. I mean, she was talking about taking a total control of herself.
Right, controller.
So,
exactly.
I mean, I think most of our artists are yet to understand this, but with due time, they will all,
And the funny thing about it is when you do music that creates some type of motivation in people and inspires people, your music will last a lifetime. Look at artists like Bob Marley. He's not even here, and he's still on Billboard. He's still getting Grammys.
Everywhere.
He's posthumously.
I mean, people use it in their movies. I saw this movie, I Am Legend, the one Will Smith did. I mean, he played Bob Marley's songs and he was talking about it. Exactly. So this is what good music does.
It does. And look at someone like Yusu, who's been around for ages.
I mean, Chonseka, may his soul rest in peace.
And then we have Usu Senor, Ifan Bondi. So you have artists that have created that environment and that legacy of making sure that their music lives forever. So
I think most of our artists today, they tend to look up to people that have nothing to do with the kind of music they're doing with. I mean, I think most of our artists today are following more of artists that talks about women, that talks about violence, that talks about promoting drugs, or all sort of things. Because you would listen to some songs, they act as if you're not into having a lot of women or being a party person, or using some kind of substances to get yourself high or something, then you're not trending. And it's not true.
It's not
you can
true.
still do conscious music and still trend.
And party.
Of course, and still party. I mean, we can dance and talk about how to change, how to end rape, like what is happening in the country. A lot of young girls are getting raped. I mean, people killing each other from the use of drugs, all sorts of things. I mean, sometimes I think as an artist, you have a very big role to play in society.
They do. And we do. Yes. We have whether it's visual art, whether it's music, whether it's
even
movies,
myself here, I have the opportunity
media,
to talk to people.
Everybody has a role to play.
Of course.
And sometimes you can't even blame the artist, because artists, whether it's a visual artist or a musician, it doesn't matter your energy at the moment. You're making a piece of art. The issue is the commercialization of your music or your art piece. So that's where the gatekeepers are there. You understand? So if your music is not representative of what should be out there for the people, it's the gatekeepers, the media, the DJs, the people in the club who should say, well, look, I don't think I should play this song because this song is very misogynistic. It's very disrespectful towards women. It's promoting rape or the mishandling of women, or this art piece. Like I remember there was an artist, I'm not going to name his name, but there was a musician who did an album cover, and the Christian community felt offended,
of course.
And so QTV ended up banning him completely from rotation.
Everybody knows the artist.
But I'm not going to say.
Of course.
We all know what I'm talking about.
But
the gatekeepers were like, look, this is disrespectful to the Christian community, so we're not going to allow this to move forward. Whether it was a breach of First Amendment or First Amendment and freedom of speech, that could be contested, because it could have been, because I've seen Tupac do a similar situation and nobody really said much. So it can be contested, but that's what I mean about we have a responsibility as the gatekeepers, whether it be...
I think the whole entertainment industry, or I would say the whole art industry in Gambia, it's not regularized.
regularized.
It's not regularized. You understand? I think people just do whatever they want and just display it however you want, and that's it. And
But
I think
there is a
structure.
process. You have the National Council of Arts and Culture. I remember when we were getting ready to do the exhibition, we went down there. As a matter of fact, they were part of what we were doing. The director of the museum, his name slips me at this moment. But they were like, well, are you registered? You need to register before you do this event. So there are processes and procedures that we have in place in the Gambia. I just think that we need to just really be more connected, whether it's the Gambia Music Union, whether it's National Council of Arts and Culture, whether it's, I don't know what copyrights are set up here for artists. I don't know what's there for visual artists to protect their work, or to even create a platform where you can
Do you
buy
think
their
they
work.
themselves are really reaching out to artists? I mean, how does it work? Is it you, the artists, have to reach out to them, or they could also, reach out to you as an artist?
Well, I think to be, in all fairness, for artists that they have in their database, they reach out to. But if they don't really know about you, or you're a new artist, do what you can and make sure you go and you participate and make yourself known. Let them know that you're an artist. Let them know who you are, so that when they do have, because they didn't even know I was in town. They were like, "Oh, Oli, you're still here? We just did this with the Roots Festival. You should have been at the meeting." Well, I'm like, well, my email is in your database for the past 15 years. I brought over 400 people to Gambia for the Roots Festival since 1994. So even if I'm not here, reach out.
Of course.
But I do realize that with the change of government, it's been a little different because of the different forms of leadership. And some people who are now in positions of power were not there. So maybe they don't know who the movers and the shakers and who the people who have been involved in.
The people they should go to.
I think there's an opportunity in the Gambia, though, to set a certain standard. Because we're at the beginnings of forming something very new. We can have a standard that is shaped based on our ethics as a people versus the gatekeepers of the West. And I'm saying it that way to use Oli's language because in the West, and even to refer to how you were saying some artists are aspiring to certain models or examples that aren't necessarily healthy or in keeping with their identity.
Of course.
We have a chance to not build a structure like that in the West. Where we can actually use our indigenous language. First of all, celebrate,
of course, our culture.
Celebrate our culture and how we represent and take care of our women and how we love our mothers. I enjoy ST's music videos, and the sisters are looking fly and dope, but they're not naked.
Naked, of course.
Of course. They represent still how the Gambia and the sisters are respected, and I think that standard is something to be celebrated and used as an example, and then that can be built upon.
I think it all has to do with the mindset. I think most of these artists they think this is what sells, but they don't know
that's the Western gatekeeper model.
Exactly,
and it's not necessarily.
But what you do here in your own culture and your own style, it actually attracts the Western aspect of music.
Yes,
you know. That's what I was just about to say.
That's why they appropriate.
Right. So that's what I was just about to say. The reason why the Afrobeat movement is so huge because it is creating this signature of African music where we're styling ourselves. We're looking diva, and we're not trying to be colorful. You're not trying to be that regular MTV video girl just on the video shaking her booty, wearing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things.
You can be beautiful.
Yeah, those are the things that they did over time to dumb down the music and take the music away from us, to take the power of the music away from us, because they saw in the 90s what the music was doing. It was unifying the youth. It was uplifting the youth. It was empowering the youth. It was showing the youth in a positive manner and showing them that they could be whatever they wanted to be. So nowadays they use the music to dumb down the people so that the people can be disempowered, so the people can act crazy, so the people can do stupid things. You know what I'm saying? And act dumb.
Just look at the recent artist that is trending on social media. I think it's Lil Nas or whatever his name is, promoting the 666, the Illuminati thingy. I mean, like there's this
controversy
shoe.
sale.
There's this shoe that they're selling. I think they said they're only selling 6,066 shoes. it matches the number of the 666.
So it goes back to what I was saying. So you can use your music for positivity, and you can use your music for negativity, and that's where we are right now. Music, whether it art, basically everything is being is two roads. It's two platforms. It's either you're using to destroy or you're using it to uplift. You have to choose. Now, if you're trying to sell your soul for money and trying to dumb down the people, dumb down the youth and the generations coming, you're going to have to pay for that. Of course. Spiritually.
Of course.
Now, if you use your music and your artwork to uplift, even if you may do certain things in your personal life that may seem certain, but with the way that you approach the world and you try to do things that are positive, that are going to bring people together, they're going to unify people, they're going to give positive messages, that is the platform that you need to go to. So I ask all artists, what type of artist, no matter what type of artist you are, figure out which lane you want to stay in. If you want to be a positive artist, stay positive. If you want to be a negative artist, do your thing, but just know that there are going to be ramifications because of what you've done.
Of course.
I think it's also important that artists stay connected to their communities. That they stay out in the community, giving back to their people, empowering their community through their example. Which is what we're going to be doing at Taal.
Our artists lately have been doing it, like the of SC. I mean, we've seen after his event, he gave back to the community. I mean, where he started his all music. I think it was their park or something in Brikama. And then you had Zizzle did the same. I mean, they're coming up. I mean, we just don't have a lot of people to kind of mentor them in what they're doing. That's another problem here in Gambia when it comes to youth in entertainment. They don't have mentors, many of them. They just get up and have an idea of what they're doing, just go after it. I mean, most of them, I have big respect for them because they did it on their own. Like the artist that is having a show, I think it's tomorrow or something, Oh Boy and Gambian Child. I mean, they were really struggling, and you see where they are, and their music is rich in culture.
Did a lot of that.
Hakeem
of course played a major role.
He built the foundation, basically.
Even building their millions of. He helped them create that whole YouTube situation. But the issue is, I think sometimes artists get too big for the britches. When they reach a certain level in their career, they forget who is there to help them get, and then they get greedy and they get selfish. You understand? So I just I tell all the artists, never forget your roots. Never forget where you come from. Never forget the team,
the people
that
who
helped build
you
and help you get where you are, because no man is an island. No one can do it alone.
Of course,
you have to have a team of powerful
most of them. That's their
you.
problem too. They're very selfish. I mean, they forget yesterday, like you said. They grow bigger wings and feel they can fly without the people that were there. I mean, you do that, don't worry, you will get to a point where you will need the people that were there for you, and they've moved on. So coming back to you, Charmain, who are your biggest influences?
Oh, let me see. My biggest influences are my teachers. I would say my teachers through school. And my teachers and my mother, as an example. And then I also have art mentors artist mentors that I've always admired. And so I liken my own position in community and my career like them. I'm a teacher. So we'll be actually teaching a mural, how to make public art and a mural and art entrepreneurship to young people in Tollington South. Coming up to do a huge wall there.
Looking forward to that. We definitely need walls like that.
Wait till when it starts happening. Everyone in the Gambia is going to be driving by just to see it.
So, but I'm the logistics person. We need sponsors.
Yes.
You always like to talk about money.
No, but it's going to take a lot of paint. A 700 foot wall of a wall.
So what kind of paints do you use though?
I use exterior latex paint, which is house paint.
Have you tried reach out to any painting company?
So that's what we're saying. We're going to be reaching out to you sponsors to help with the paint and to help feed the people,
the young people.
And also we want to pay the young people who participate and we just want to create a whole movement around this mural. And also we want young people who are artists here to see that there is a career in art, visual arts. A lot of people see the career in singing and dancing, but sometimes people get a little bit stagnant because of visual arts. And right now, I think one of the most famous visual artists we have here is Mama Africa. We went to her artist residency in where's that? Tujarang or Gunjur?
It just past Tanja?
Yeah, past Tanja. There we go. So so we do do have examples of that, but we need more examples of artists who can really, build a career out of visual arts.
Right.
And the craftsmen and women in the markets, they're artists.
Of course.
They make impeccable woodwork.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have people who make these batik,
tie and dyes,
and I come from a family.
The basket weavers,
weavers,
all of them.
The iron workers, the leather workers,
We have so many talented artists here.
I'm going to talk about that because it's very important. There are so many work opportunities, like job opportunities here, but young people tend to look at these people as maybe, I don't know, their work doesn't have an impact in their life, for instance.
Because it's practical?
Yeah, because it's practical, and because they see how they sit on the highway, and they feel they don't make money, or the job is not considered standard because you're not working at a bank, or you're not
inside
on suit
of
and
air
tie,
conditioning,
or air conditioning, stuff like that.
Okay.
So I want to ask, what does it take to become a visual artist? Is it something embedded in you, or can you just practice it out of nowhere?
I think a little bit of both. You got to practice, but we all naturally have an instinct for visual storytelling. We all do. About the local artists community, having produced the National Black Arts Festival, the largest feature of that event every year, and people came from all over the world for this event, was that vendor market. So I live in the Gambia, and I live in the vendor market of the National Black Arts Festival. That's how I feel. Everywhere I go, I see my entrepreneur artists all doing their thing, and their community going to them to make their clothes, going to them for their wedding,
for their furniture,
for their furniture, all of that, and it's a different economic model than a corporate structure that you go and give a gazillion dollars to for a much lesser made product, basically. And you think that that's a good thing that you're able to do that. But the real good thing, the real good art is those vendors. We were able to fly many of the vendors over to the States during those years directly from the continent to be present. And there is a vast world community of collectors of this work. My tie-dye and batik collaborator, I have first of all, I got on the ground and had him I commissioned all my sheets in my house are stunning indigo, stuff. But all of that, if I think some of us who are throughout the diaspora would partner and collaborate with Gambians to just promote or create access, the mailing system here in the Gambia is effective. Those artisans, they could ship that content if they had an online boutique, if you will. I know our internet is a little spotty. Our internet is a little spotty, but I feel like there are barriers that we could overcome here in the Gambia to have a thriving artists community that is supported locally like it is, but also supported globally.
So they can sell international markets.
It's interesting because with the internet, there's no boundaries. You understand what I mean? So you don't have to you don't need a middleman anymore to get directly to your market. Your market is right there as long as you create some type of online store, etc. And then people who undermine artists, they shouldn't, because these artists in many senses are more independent than they are. They work for themselves. You understand? And a lot of times they even make more money than somebody that may work in a bank. Not to knock anybody who has a 9 to 5, because it's all necessary.
It's obvious. Like even if we do not want to accept it or talk about it, it's obvious. Like nothing beats entrepreneurship.
Yes.
It's obvious. So
be your own CEO.
Of course, be your own boss. Wake up anytime you want. Do whatever you want.
We work very hard now. Circle.
Wait a minute. The hours for them may be 8 hours. Ours is like 22
hours. Exactly. It can be very scary. Many people, when they think about the 24-hour aspect of becoming an entrepreneur, they tend to be that 9 to 5 and wait for your salary type of person. Which, I mean, it has its own advantage, but the disadvantage is more. So how have you developed your career, Charmain? And what will you advise young people that are into the visual arts?
I have developed my career really in service. Like I've been, working in the field, helping my fellow artists all this time. Because as I, first of all, became a curator and producer early on in my career, in my 20s, I helped a lot. If I had it, I gave it to you. Yeah. If I knew someone that you needed to know, you knew them.
Yeah.
And I never compromised that. I all the way, these 20-some years later, I've always continued to do that. So
you will say it's
I'm a
service
network.
for you.
Yeah, it's a service for me to the field that I'm a connector and a networker for myself, but also my environment.
Right.
And that has been my secret. And so I advise all of my Gambian fellow artists to just be the artist in your community and then work your network. And it doesn't have to be you sold something for $5,000 here, you sold something for $50,000
Yeah.
It could be that you were able to make $1,000 off of your small pieces, or you created all the gift cards for Tabasco, or you whatever. Just know yourself as the artist and let people know that that's who you are, and then they will begin to support you in your path.
I think many young people have
musician.
a problem with that. I mean, you are not even known yet and you want to sell at a higher scale. I mean, I think that kind of affects them as well.
Yeah, I mean, have ambition and be innovative in your network. Go beyond your sphere of influence. Like, don't be scared. Get on a project that you don't know how to paint.
Don't devalue.
You don't know how to paint a mural. You've never painted in that scale before. But you know what? I'm willing. I'm going to try. Right. Go ahead and do that. Ooh, I should tell the Gambia, there is a mural festival happening in Dakar. I want to take a team.
Anyone?
From the Gambia.
Can I go? Can I go with you?
But it's funny because there are some muralists here. If you go to Banjul, and even like on coming from traffic light heading to Senegambia, you see some murals. You know what I'm saying?
I saw one at Duplex.
Yes.
I think, there's a mural.
Yes. So there are murals in different places. So there are graffiti artists, muralists here, other visual artists.
And I see y'all artists who are painting like such beautiful work on the sides of these butcher shops. And barber shops and beauty shops. I see you.
Yeah, so there's tons of artists. Gambia has so many talented artists. Like, there's one restaurant I like to go to. It's a Jamaican restaurant. I think Spangler's right here in Turntable on the left. And so there are pictures of Marcus Garvey, Thomas Sankara, and these are spitting images of these leaders, you know. So Gambia has dynamic artists. I think we just need to bring them more together and really create platforms.
Do we really have sound artists here?
Sound artists?
Sand artists.
Sand artists.
Yes.
Oh, let me think. I've seen some sand artist vendors. And I understand there's like a community that manufactures them, like
here and in
Senegal. And so I believe there's
so do you also need those people, or?
Well, I say we need each other. Everybody, we all need the arts. We all need to come out and support the artists, our local artists. We don't need to buy corporate art. I always look at people's art. you need to support your local artists and commission a nice, one of my challenges was canvases, and there were a couple of folks that I came across that were figuring out ways how to make canvas. And I think that, there's a couple of little things that if we just help each other, that whole community or that whole medium would just blow up here in the Gambia.
I mean, I feel we have a lot of people that are into canvas art and others that are into any other form of painting, but it's like you have more of foreigners buying their work more than Gambians ourselves, because we tend to put more of Western furniture in our house, in our homes, more than artwork. Local artwork.
Okay.
And we definitely have.
We're gonna showcase amazing Mama Africa art.
I think people like it when you change the narrative.
When you go into the homes of like most Africans from the diaspora, most of them that I know, they have nothing but African art, African paintings. They want to have tie-dye. They want to have batik.
A portrait of
they
their
wanna
elders.
They want to have something that reminds them of Africa. Yesterday, I was looking at pictures of her daughter's school party, and her daughter and I think another child who obviously had parents that were not from Gambia. They wore Gambian outfits.
Yeah. Wow.
And then the children wore regular Western outfit. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's this thing, which is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? There's this synergy between Africans on the continent, Africans and of the diaspora. I'm not going to say they look. It's an urban look, urban black.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We always set the trend, whether it's hip hop. You know, so there's that connection through continents. Whether you're in the Caribbean, whether you're in Africa, we always connect. When I lived in Jamaica, we're taking African material with European styles. You know what I'm saying?
Like the whole dashiki thing.
Yeah, dashiki thing is major. You know, so I just think that we just need to keep building those bridges, connecting our roots, and just bring us all together.
I mean, we all
everybody
together,
just
like
come
said,
together.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
Of course. I can remember when I was going to school. Them days I've been into art as well, because normally you have these courses that you do. So when you get to that point, you either continue doing it or you drop it out. It was what I used to do was tie and dye batik, but then you
did.
Yeah, of course. You just take a material, hold the edge, tie it, and dip it inside some colors.
I need to know all
and
that.
then you also have a bottle.
Okay.
Then you put different sand, black sand, brown sand, white sand, different kind of sand. And then the bottle turns out to have different colors of sand. And it looks so beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your art.
That's my art. And I'm going to go to the car. I'm saying this to convince you so I can go to the car.
Sand art.
Right. So my next question is, how do you seek out opportunities?
I think I mentioned it before, my network.
Yeah,
my
your network.
I also don't wait on curators or anyone to invite me. I just create something.
Yeah.
We did that at the Metsi Hotel, and it was a lovely event.
Wow.
It wasn't a gallery.
Well, you told me. I missed it out.
It was stunning.
Don't worry, we're going to be doing more exhibitions.
I'll definitely come to the Italian then.
But I think she wants to do more community-focused ones, so maybe we might go somewhere like in Banjul, in the middle of Allen Street, and have an art exhibition.
Of course.
Or, you know,
I want to take the art to
Sarakunda somewhere.
I want to take it to the people.
Right. So how do you cultivate a collector base?
Collectors. I mentioned your network. I have a group of about, I would say 10 families that I consider my patrons. And they're on my speed dial and my text or my WhatsApp, and I send them things. Whatever I'm working on, I send them a screenshot of it or a shot of it. I give them first dibs on it, if you will, if they want to buy. And I have different price points that I work with within that group. And they're the ones that I go to when I need supplies or sponsorship. I go to them first.
Right.
And just like a museum would list all their patrons and do a big gathering, in the States we call them galas.
Right.
I do barbecues, small things, you know, a little party, a little love,
and
you know.
then sell your things.
And it's been on that scale, but I've also just been super consistent in my message about activism, and that's grown my collector base. And now institutions are looking at my work. And so it's just starting where you are.
Like BMW, like Marta,
Mercedes-Benz.
Sorry, not BMW, Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes-Benz is my sponsor.
Marta.
So do you think Mercedes-Benz would ever have you draw a whole anchor as their background for the car, like the whole body?
Oh wow!
There's a big one, you know.
We should go there. Every year they sponsor a mural in the community for me. And my sponsor is Mercedes-Benz USA. And I'm trying to make a connection to like Mercedes-Benz Africa. Or, you know,
of course, that would be great. Like have a whole body of a car out of anchor.
Well, I'm. What happens for me, living in the Gambia, is I'm so global now, and I'm not just global as a visual artist, but my network, my ideas, my producer side comes out.
So from now on, I'm so global as well.
We need to work with some Gambian designers to commission or engineers. You know, we didn't work with our boutique artists to use their fabric as inspiration for the next, you know, wherever those influences that I have in the West or worldwide. I'd like
Right.
to see some Gambian content.
Okay.
come
Yes,
on.
and
All of
bringing it
that.
back, sponsors, we need you.
We need
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the artists. You know, when they
Yeah.
come to your offices with the proposals, you know, don't just sponsor the music events. Make
Yeah.
sure you
You
sponsor the
visual
visual
arts as
artists,
well,
you know,
yeah.
the craftsmen, etc. You know, because again, this is all part of uplifting, building, and branding Gambia.
Yes. So how do you navigate the art world?
Navigate. Let me see. I'm a producer and a curator. So I create content, and then as a visual artist, I have my own studio, and I create my own events
Right.
and exhibitions.
Great.
So that's basically how I navigate.
So how do you price your work?
Price my work? Ooh, that's a secret. Most artists don't talk about that because they might have taken 15 minutes, you know?
No, because it's based on your clout.
Yes, yes.
It's based on where you are.
It's your clout and where you are, but you better stand in where you are.
Yes.
Okay.
You better. This is not a time to be low self-esteem.
So
and I
so
don't
do
know.
you price based on time, effort, idea,
All of
creativity?
that, all of that.
Okay.
It might have taken me an hour to paint,
Yeah.
but it took me a lifetime to think about.
Right.
So, you know, and I had to do research.
And I told you
I
have to
traveled to the
paint.
Gambia, and then I went to Saracunda and got my indigo and all that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So which current art world trend are you following?
Well, I'm really interested in what's happening in the fine art world out of Africa. In the fine art world globally, there are these institutions that determine our value. Sotheby's, Christie's. There are these auction houses that determine our value. And there's never been a situation where that was black
Yeah.
controlled. But it's interesting because black art is what's controlling it now.
Wow.
The top sales of art worldwide are black. Some of the most influential people in the world, most wealthy people in the world are collecting black art.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's so much story to tell, and it's rich. You know, so definitely following that trend and telling stories out there and helping people get connected to their roots. That alone is, massive.
Well, you know, I like to tell this story. A lot of the institutions of the West and of Europe, especially financial institutions, they backed their whole existence on African art. Their museums are stocked with our gold and our sacred objects.
Of course.
Like the Smithsonian.
Yes.
And many of our African countries are reclaiming those original artifacts and art.
I heard something like that. Like they collected everything in Nigeria. I think
Yes.
it's the Yoruba
The Benin.
tribe or something,
The Benin.
Benin or something,
The
and
Benin.
then they, exported to
The bronze statue.
And also
Benin.
Queen Ty and a whole bunch of mummies are being sent
Back
back
to Egypt.
Yeah.
to Egypt.
Yes.
So we are reclaiming, but
Yes.
we would like for England. England has a lot of our diamonds,
See?
jewelry.
But do you
And
think
that
whoever can have
becomes those are the tangible assets that they ultimately
They
build their
stole-
financial
yeah.
institutions on.
and they stole from
and
us.
they hold in their national
thieves.
they hold in their national treasures.
Yeah,
So,
our stuff.
So,
But wait
so
though,
now
wait
it's time for Africa.
I don't think do you think they really stole these? I
Yes,
think they must have.
They raided. They raided and butchered and killed
Okay.
communities during slavery and just all types of things during Romans.
Because
the
I've heard
Greeks.
stories like they would bring mirrors, whatever things that we didn't had as Africans in exchange of taking things from
No,
us.
these archaeologists, they were one of the major thieves. Back in the days, they would go excavating in
Yeah,
Ethiopia
of
and
course.
Egypt and Sudan and stuff. They're looking for different. Some of them would even never give the objects that they found to the
Yeah,
museums.
of
They would
course.
keep them for their
Yeah.
families.
And they would launch propaganda worldwide that the objects that they had taken were of much value,
Wow.
or the people that they took them from were not as genius as they
Indigenous,
were.
yeah.
Wow.
Just like the noses that they shot off of the tombs and
Yeah.
the Sphinx in Egypt. It was specifically to to message to the world that those were not black people.
Wow.
Those spaces were not black, and this was not in Africa, and this was not built by black hands.
Wow.
So, you know, it's
what if you check
it's time to reverse all of that.
Really,
yeah, it's time to reverse all of that.
Yeah, it's time to reclaim
our heritage and our venue,
greatness.
our content.
And I think we have to do that unifying
yes.
ourselves.
And that's
the only way
through
we can.
art and culture. That's what unifies us.
So the last question now is, tell us about your upcoming mural project happening at Tallinding.
And in Tallinding, we are working with the amazing community center there. The executive director was once a young person that attended that community center. Mm-hmm. His board is made of the elders in the neighborhood. I love all of that. Mm-hmm. One of his assistant director was once his teacher. Mm-hmm. Wow. This sweet auntie that's overseeing everything, and they're helping us connect the project to a tailoring and entrepreneurship program they're doing for young women there. Yeah. So the wall that we're going to be painting is actually a freedom quilt. And the freedom quilts were what we created during enslavement, which was a practical blanket made of repurposed fabric. Mm-hmm. But we sewed in messages of freedom, of how to get north and away to freedom. So I've been painting all of my murals as patches in a freedom quilt across the world is what I want to say now. But it was originally Atlanta, and then it went national, and now it's global because we're going to do a freedom quilt in Tallinding. Mm-hmm. So we're going to enlist the help of 3 Gambia artists and 3 youth from Tallinding.
Do you mind? I mean,
it's very competitive. Those 3 positions. We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk. Sand might be a part of it, but sand art. But we'll be there. Hopefully, we can reach our fundraising goals and accomplish the mural this spring. I am staying in the Gambia. I'm going to be here between here and Atlanta. Now and forever is my goal. Right.
Well, she's not one of us.
I'm a Gambiana.
So well
official.
Yes, it is.
Without letting too much of the cat out the bag.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So I'm going to be here in order to execute these ideas. The Roots Festival. The mural is just the beginning.
Okay, so where is it happening, and how did you guys decide which wall to choose? I mean, was it given to you
my partner, Boo Carmana, we went to KMC. Okay. And asked them, which wall should we use? And we went there because we wanted the support of the governing forces in that area. Right. And we wanted to be in the Westfield area and near
the Westfield would have been so beautiful if you had space.
Driving all the way down, I know. But we were designated to Tallinding, which I like because it's inside of an actual community. Okay. And it has a great legacy. The story of the center does, and it's huge enough that you can still see it from the main road. Right. And people will be able to enjoy it. So.
And let me just quickly do my job, Mr. Mayor Talib Bensouda. Please, we need your sponsorship, sir.
He's been very supportive.
Financial as well.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course. And when the finance come, I'd like to have my chair too.
Look, ask what you will.
We need you, Mr. Mayor, and the whole KMC.
We do.
Definitely.
It's true.
And I think the NCAC would like her to do a mural in Banjo, but I want to do that through Connie Tucker Legacy Foundation.
I saw someone did a George Floyd mural in Banjo.
I saw that. It was so beautiful. Yeah, I saw that.
I haven't seen it. Okay, we have to go and take pictures.
Yeah, so it's we got.
It'd be nice if you do a Kunte Kinte one. Like, imagine if you were given the arch, the Arch 22 in Banjo.
Yes, that huge arch.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful architecturally. You would cover it. Oh.
You know what we could do? We could never.
You know what we could do?
We could do it around it.
No.
That's true. But we could also project.
Yes, that's a good one.
We can make the whole arch glow.
You see, I'm giving you a lot of ideas. You need to have me in your team.
Okay, you are already. There we go.
Sally's on everybody's team.
So it's a pleasure having you.
Such a pleasure.
Beautiful artist.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Please, quickly, can you give everybody your handles?
Okay. I'm on Instagram as Black Angel ATL.
Yeah.
And I'm on Facebook as Charmain Minifield.
Yeah.
And my website is thenewfreedomproject.org or charmainminifield.com.
So this is what we'll do. We'll just have it displayed while the show is running, you know, so people can quickly get it. Because, I mean, if you just say it like this, some might be, you know, playing, pausing,
all right, let me get mine
to get
right
through
quick.
it. Okay.
At Olimata Taal, that's OLIMATTATAAL on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Everywhere.
and Senjigen Productions. That's SENGIGENPRODUCTIONS @gmail.com, and you can reach me at 220-250-9257.
Okay.
220-250-9257.
And I'm gonna give mine quick at SALL.
Come on with it.
Exactly. Lift up.
Continue.
Yes.
Okay.
I always have so much fun when we come on your show.
Of course.
I know all of the viewers watching are like, "Nyani." Well, the three of them.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure having both of you here. I'm looking forward to the mural project at Taal. When is the date?
We are still fundraising and setting the date accordingly.
Okay, all right. So once the date is out, just tell me. I'll share it. So maybe someone is watching who's an artist as well, a visual artist,
or a sponsor
who would want to come. And also, it would be nice to have a musical artist.
Yes, we must. We
Yeah.
usually do an event to unveil it.
You should have our to perform her.
I was thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking, especially with a focus on women, girls.
Of course, it would be nice. Okay,
All right.
so
thank you for having us.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Sally.
Let's say bye to them.
TC for Shaze Maneze.
Your days of you have insufficient funds in your account are finally over.
The Colorado credit just reached an unbeatable level, raising the bar way beyond reach. With your new Colorado credit, you can continue your conversations with your loved ones with zero credit.
With your new Colorado credit, you can borrow credit to activate or purchase data, make calls, SMS Express, and the phone ring service.
Call or SMS 152 to get your Colorado credit and activate the service of your choice.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Agada.
Mbijano aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Korsa.
Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijano bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta même na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol dil fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo mo yo diat.
Apelenta
Ni mo ka ni
baraka.
lafta nyelen kendo le bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.